It is time for another interesting One Piece discussion video where we find a Reddit post and we just talk about the thread. All credits go to the person who originally posted this. You could tell they put in a lot of work, but today we're going to be talking about Luffy's Devil Fruit Awakening and this guy's theory on it. Alright, now let's just pull it up on the big screen. Ignore Yamato's massive tits right there. Boom, that's not it. Boom, here we go. Awakening the Gomu Gomu no Mi and Gear 5th. This guy wrote a lot for us to digest here. It doesn't really have a lot of upvotes. It doesn't really have a lot of comments, but I see this guy put in a lot of effort to write this. And I mean, I haven't read it yet, but I think it looks pretty solid. So let's just get into his theory. All right, Winter Explanation wrote, I've typed this out twice before and my phone shut off both freaking times. Rest in peace, dude. This is a lot to type out. I'm here to tell you why Luffy's Devil Fruit is the one the Gorosei we're talking about. I will be mentioning the reason it was renamed, the similarity between Luffy's body and the specific substance, and the very underwhelming, but still very Oda thing to do with his awakening. First off, let me list Luffy's special characteristics in various forms. Oh, dude, this is a lot. I feel like we're gonna have to put on some glasses for this one. Luffy's base. It's stretchy, shock absorbent, insulated, heat resistant, and tear resistant. Gear second, I'm not going to read the parentheses because we get the concept here. First off, it's pressure resistant, it's very hot and gaseous, vulcanization, high tensile strength. Gear third, it is compression resistant, limited projectile resistant, firmness. Gear fourth, highly compressive, highly pressurized, compression resistant, pressure resistant, bouncy, high tensile strength, highly insulated. Okay, he's kind of repeating a little bit, it's fine. Gear 5th. What is he calling this? He's calling it fishmen, boatmen, or aqua. Oh no! Oh no! The names are kind of bad. Maybe we got to rethink that. But let's see what he says. Gaseous, high buoyancy, high density, limited water resistance. He says that the gaseousness will release gas bubbles and steams across his body. The high buoyancy, he can float on top of water. High density blows up skin to make body denser. That's kind of crazy. It blows up his skin. That's kind of nuts, bro. Limited water resistance, he says. Gas bubbles keep water off of him for a limited time. I mean, to be honest, I do think the whole thing with salt water and ocean water being the Devil Fruit's main weakness, I think that's very interesting. So I feel like Oda will touch on Devil Fruits and the ocean at some point in time. And, you know, maybe Luffy's Devil Fruit is the one Devil Fruit that can get around it with its powers. But I'm not too sure about this theory so far. But we'll keep on going. This guy has a lot to go. Notice something about my Gear 5th theory? Yep, Luffy can swim. His awakening is the ability to float on water. Not in water, on water. So long as Luffy is conscious, he can release gas bubbles that allow him to float by preventing water from touching him. You may be asking why I believe this. Well, let's take a look at some of the properties of the special rubber Luffy is made out of. Holy crap. Okay. I can kind of see why this doesn't have too many upvotes. It's kind of getting a little bit crazy now. Neoprene is what he believes Luffy... What is neoprene? It's known as blank... I'm not going to try to pronounce that one. It's one of the first synthetic rubber products ever made. Okay, so it's still like rubber, right? Like, it's not like Luffy's Devil Fruit is renamed per se. See, the main gripe with this, I haven't finished it, of course, but the main gripe with this is that his awakening is too lackluster to be the fruit the Gorosei are talking about. The Gorosei were talking about the awakening as if it would be world ending. Like, it is like an insane awakening that should not be in the hand of pirates. And if the Gomu Gomu no Mi's awakening is to float on water, that would be very late. Like, it would have nothing to do with the fight against Kaido. It wouldn't even make sense to awaken at that point. Like, Luffy, his only use for awakening would to just take a bubble bath a little bit easier. To just float on water for no reason. Like, it wouldn't make any sense to me so far. I mean, maybe this guy has a lot more points. Neoprene, he just kind of goes over everything that rubber can do. Which, you know, the Gomu Gomu no Mi is essentially the rubber fruit. So calling it rubber and giving it rubber properties, kind of repetitive. That's right. Luffy's Devil Fruit is neoprene. The neoprene no Mi. Oh man, doesn't that just roll up the tongue? No freaking way. Oh no. This isn't going good. I don't want to talk bad about it. This guy did put a lot of work into this, so I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to keep on reading it. Just think about it. Luffy's body is completely rubber at all times. He doesn't... Okay. See, the thing with the Gomu Gomu no Mi is that I feel like this was already kind of interpreted to being rubber. Like, look at this. It literally says it right here. Official English name, gum gum fruit, meaning rubber. This guy is arguing, or I mean, he's saying that Luffy's devil fruit is rubber, or like synthetic rubber is what neoprene is from what we just saw together. So it's like, yes, Luffy is rubber because that's his devil fruit. He's not really making any crazy jumps here. He doesn't need to be attacked for it to activate. He doesn't have to activate at all. He's just always rubber. Because that's his devil. Like, that's his devil. Oh, man. Even Logia fruit wielders can't do that. Luffy's fruit is the only one. That's because Luffy's body becomes rubber as a prerequisite for his actual ability. Okay. We were just missing the meat of it. All right. The reason the world government renamed the fruit is because one of its abilities is to float on water. But why is that bad, though? Like, why would the world government be afraid of a guy floating on water? Like, are they afraid of the second coming of Jesus Christ? Like, what's the big deal with floating on water? These same gas bubbles allow the wielder of the Neo no Mi to swim on water if used correctly. Dude, let me tell you, man. There's this dude. There's this dude. Blow your mind. Senor Pink, bro. This dude can swim on land. World government, beware. This man's on a mission to destroy the world. They said Sakazuki could find the One Piece in 1 year. Boy, give Senor Pink a Sunday. A singular Sunday where he just has a little bit of free time. One Piece found. One Piece found. Furthermore, these gas bubbles are likely usable in various other situations as well. Luffy's body already releases them. Hell, it forms a scarf in Gear 4th. What's to say he can't manipulate that steam? Steam is a gas. I believe Luffy's awakening will allow him to wield that same steam as a sort of weapon. One that he can even coat his body in so that he can swim. The reason his steam, because... okay, so there's a reason his steam becomes a snake in the anime. I mean, his steam also becomes a dragon in some form when he attacks. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, the power of the Gomu Gomu no Mi is so close to neoprene specifically that it would make sense for that to be his devil fruit. The power of the rubber no Mi is so close to neoprene, which is a synthetic rubber. That's... I think he kind of fell short right here. I think this dude took Gum no Mi too literally. He probably thought Luffy was Laffy Taffy at this point. Like, Luffy was actually gum. Like, you could just buy this dude for $1 at the gas station. Yes, the fruit was stolen while being guarded by Who's Who. Yes, the Gorosei know Luffy has the power of the fruit, but they weren't worried about Luffy's usage of the Gomu Gomu no Mi because the Goroseis aren't the ones who renamed the fruit. They don't even know which fruit it was that had been renamed. They just found out which fruit it was. But who could have told them? Well, I don't think it was Shanks. I think they just didn't put 2 and 2 together until they started talking about Who's Who. This all being said, I don't think this steam ability is going to be some omni-powerful ability. He'll use it for very few things and will actually have to activate his awakening in order to swim. But I 100% think this is it. If you disagree, feel free to let me know, but I do not want to type this out for a 4th time later. Alright, edit. I just want to clarify, I came up with this while Googling something. The entire theory took me about 5 minutes to come up with, and I really did believe it. The fact that my phone turned off so many times while typing this damn thing was probably a sign that this theory was BS. This guy admits it. Yo, this guy literally admits his theory is BS. That being said, I've been thinking about it for a while now, and while I don't believe this theme itself is completely aesthetic, I can acknowledge that this theory has way too many holes. Thank God. Thank God this guy admitted it. Oh, man. Oh, dude. I felt so freaking bad that this dude, you know, I mean, I don't know how long it took him to type this out, but whenever somebody puts this much effort into a theory, I do feel bad trashing on it, but boy, this theory was a steaming hot pile of poo-poo on the ground. Holy crap. It's just bad overall. Like, why would the Gorosei be afraid of a fruit that lets you swim? Like, imagine working your tail off to have an awakening that drains all your powers. Only the top tier in the world can awaken, and all you can do is swim. He said something about producing gas, but like, let's be real here. Luffy isn't a smart fighter. He's a fighter. Luffy would see these gas bubbles and he just like poke them because it's fun. Like, you know what I mean? Luffy is not strategic in that sense. Luffy just throws punches because he knows they'll land. He's not going to see heat bubbles and he's like, all right, time to mix some chemicals together. Like atomic bomb. Like, he wouldn't do that. And Luffy being able to swim doesn't really mean anything. Luffy hasn't swam for like 10 plus years. If Luffy can all of a sudden start swimming, he would suck. Luffy would have to take swimming classes. It would not be pretty. And having an awakening that would already drain you. Just like, why would you want to add swimming on top of that? Like, Kaido's not going to fight you in the ocean. Like, what would swimming have to do with anything? Luffy would still have to hold his breath underwater if he can swim underwater. Like, it's just a useless awakening. It would make no sense as to why the Gorosei would be afraid of it. Like, there's so many holes, man. Let's see what the comments say. If it really is the fruit that has the Gorosei shook, why is being able to float on water such a big deal? Like, why would the Gorosei even freak out? Yo, people without devil fruits, man, should be like the world government's #1 fear. They go around to a pool party and just start shaking. They're like, oh my god, look at them. They're doing butterflies in the water. Holy crap, he's doing a backstroke. Somebody stop this man, he's starfishing out. Also, why would Luffy suddenly get the ability to manipulate steam? Wouldn't that be something reserved for the likes of Conquer or CC? I like to think that the steam is just a convenient way to add visual themes and cues to his more advanced transformations. Yeah, for sure. It's like how his Gear 4th has like the freaking devil fruit markings on him. Like, the steam is literally just there to be cool. Like, let's be real here. He's the main character. He has to look cool. Let's see another one. Awakening means that if you figured out the true power of your devil fruit, it's not some new power you just gain out of nowhere. We've seen this theme from way back on Enies Lobby with Gear 2nd, maybe even before that. Luffy's already been manipulating it into a scar for himself. It also transformed into snakes in the anime, which has frequently shown things that Oda never got to add in the manga due to time constraints. So I'm taking this into account from the things I've seen in Dressrosa. Let's see a new thread of comments. This is all really cool and very well thought out. Maybe a little bit too well thought out. That's the nicest way to say your theory's bad. I need to use this. Whenever somebody says something dumb in the comments, I'm gonna be like, yo, you thought this out very hard. You thought this out maybe too hard. But I still think he's going to get a very basic awakening that can turn other things, stretching, and maybe use a staff just like the Monkey King. I think the fruit isn't special in itself, but maybe has some sort of prophecy around it. I think that's a good way to look at it. Like, maybe somebody in history had the devil fruit before Luffy, and they were just a menace to society. Or, like, maybe Luffy's devil fruit is just really crazy when it awakens. Like, we don't really know yet, but I feel like we're going to figure out very soon in the manga. I like the idea that it's Luffy's to be sure. But I think the steam is just aesthetics. That being said, I also can't see Luffy renaming all of his attacks. Does he still call them Gum Gum attacks even though he no longer ate the Gum Gum fruit? See, this is the problem with the translation. Like, Luffy has the rubber fruit. It's just called Gumu Gumu in Japanese. Like, that's all it is. It's not like Luffy doesn't have a Gum Gum fruit per se. Alternately, it could be another G word like glue, God, geothermal, govern, grave, gravity, greet, groove, groundwater. I mean, God Gatling gun sounds kind of dope, don't get me wrong. You also have to remember that when Oda made Luffy's devil fruit, he even mentioned how he just wanted a silly fruit that nobody would really think of as a fruit that you'd use to fight somebody. So he came up with the rubber fruit, which, you know, in English is the gum fruit. Oh no. All right, let's see this one. This guy actually hit him back with facts, I think. We have already seen Kuzan and Brook utilizing their devil fruits in a way to not submerge and travel on water. I don't really see Luffy doing something similar being any big news. Yeah, dude, Kuzan rides a bike around the ocean, man. Like, apparently the world government already has the biggest threat under their wing. Brook can run on water. Like, dude, why would they be afraid of a man that can swim? I appreciate the properties of the neoprene and the similarities between its properties and Luffy's way of utilizing his devil fruit, but honestly, it sounds more like Oda Sensei just googled the properties of rubber and gave Luffy his powers accordingly. Dead ass. Dead ass. Gear 5th theory seems plausible. There's nothing to disprove or prove it at the moment. Gear 5th can very well be the ability to swim if it becomes necessary within the plot. Like, the thing is, if it was to swim, like, when would he use this? Everybody Luffy fights and will fight will be on land. Blackbeard won't start swimming out of nowhere and Luffy's like, oh my god, Blackbeard's escaping into the ocean, time to swim to him. And Luffy like swims really slowly to him because he's never swam before. Doesn't make any sense. What I think is we need to consider here is the logic behind Gears. Their purpose is to give Luffy power-ups. As the story is progressing, he is facing much more powerful enemies, and he needs to be more powerful to keep up with the narrative. I don't think Oda Sensei would use Gear 5th to give Luffy his ability to swim back just for the sake of it. I mean, another property of rubber is that it can be melted and reshaped for it. Oh my god. Is there any reason for Gear 5th to not be something like Melted Man, a liquid form, or a shapeshifter man? That would be kind of disgusting. Imagine Luffy's like, all right, Gear 5th, and then his face, his face like starts melting off. He's like, all right, time to become liquid. That would be a nightmare. Please note, these are just examples. I'm not saying Gear 5th should be Shapeshifter Man. I feel like anything utilizing the properties of rubber and necessary to the plot is fair game. Another point is with what Devil Fruit Gotosei is referring to. Honestly, I don't know. But it would be kind of anticlimactic if it were neoprene fruit, don't you think? I mean, if neoprene is still a type of rubber anyways, what would changing its name to the Gumma Gumma no Mi accomplish? Yeah, exactly. Like, what's the difference between rubber and synthetic rubber? Synthetic rubber is probably stronger, but at the end of the day, would Oda really make that small difference? The original poster actually responded to this. Oh no, what is he gonna say here? I actually only came up with this theory because he just kind of like repeats what he said up there. Let's see here. Then at the time of posting it, I fully believed it, but that was only because I was excited about having to come up with such an unknown ability. Here's my actual theory about his awakening, which I posted quite some. Oh no, he has another one. He has another one. God, it's like part 2. We found the secret boss. The most likely Luffy awakening. Let's be real. We're already too deep into the rabbit hole. We have to complete the saga. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. I think Luffy's awakening is the ability to turn into different types of rubber. Latex is normally a really milky liquid substance. If he becomes latex, he can change... Sorry. When I think of latex, I just think of like really crazy bondage techniques or something. Luffy's going to turn into like a vest for somebody to whip somebody in. If it becomes latex, he can change the shape of his limbs and then change them into a more solid rubber substance. This would allow him to completely bypass the need to blow air into his body for gears, while simultaneously making him pseudologia type. Luffy would have a much easier time using Gear 4th, as well because he would no longer have to use Haki to harden his body. The problem with this though, just this whole thing right here, is that the purpose of Gear 4, like 1, 2, 3, and 4 and all that, is that Luffy can easily enter those abilities, right? Awakening, in my opinion, from what we've seen thus far in the story, Awakening takes a lot of effort to get to. You have to train and train and train your Devil Fruit, and then like when Kid and Law just used it, they literally have to say, hey, this attack is going to take everything out of me. Why would Luffy use an Awakening that would drain all of his stamina to enter gear, you know, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th easier? It wouldn't make any sense at all. It's like almost counterintuitive, right? Because Luffy has entered gear 4th in a singular fight multiple times. Same with gear 2nd and 3rd. And as far as Awakening goes, Luffy hasn't awakened once. And when Law and Kid uses their Awakening, they're like, yo, like, this is it. Like, we can't do anything after this. So yeah, he kind of contradicted himself right there. Let's see here. Let's go down to the second paragraph. Furthermore, it would get rid of the Haki issues Gear 4th has because he wouldn't be relying on it to coat his body. He could just use Future Sight to decide where he needs to coat himself. Not only that, He'd be able to turn himself into a giant, or maybe even make himself really small. He'd be able to fit through tight spaces for better mobility, and be able to store stuff inside of his body. That'd be kind of gross. This ability would literally turn him into a hard counter for Blackbeard too. Changing the size of his fist before being grabbed would make his fist stay enlarged, allowing him to hit Blackbeard with the strength of a giant, even if his body isn't elastic. Not only that, he'd be able to completely counter the quick power by turning himself into silicone or something to absorb the shock, rendering that ability useless because he's holding directly on a Luffy. The thing with this is that if Haki wasn't introduced, I'd very much agree with this, that it would be a hard counter to Blackbeard. But there is no way Blackbeard doesn't have Haki, and that Blackbeard isn't coding that in Haki or even Conqueror's Haki, even worse so. He could even turn himself into the gum or rubber cement and just leave pieces of himself on the ground to stop people in their tracks. Oh no, not caltrops, bro. Oh, not the caltrops. Is that what it's called? The spikes on the ground. Oh my god. Imagine Luffy starts like breaking off his toenails, like, all right, time to throw some caltrops on the ground, and he starts tossing them left and right. He's like, all right, now these guys can't run towards me anymore. That's it. Kaido, yeah, he's gonna have to switch into dragon form now. He can't walk on the ground because my fingernails are everywhere. That would be insane. What a horrible ability for a main character to have. I cannot think of anything worse than this. Oh boy. Oh, not even Usopp would. Usopp doesn't even use caltrops anymore, bro. I feel like this is most likely because it focuses his entire body and allows him to fight exactly how he likes to without having to waste his time blowing himself up or worrying about having his limbs removed if he isn't quick enough. See, I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. Luffy isn't a strategic fighter. Here, let me get the big screen because I think that's the end of this. We're not gonna go on and read the comments, but ending note, Luffy is not a strategic fighter. Luffy is a straight up brawler. He only wants to fight with his fists. Recall Rayleigh's training, where Rayleigh said, hey, Luffy, you can't always use Gear 4th. Gear 4th drains too much stamina. You have to think of something else. You have to learn Haki. You have to get better with that. Come up with a solution other than Gear 4th. What will you do if it doesn't work? Do you remember Luffy's response? He said, well, I'll just get stronger with Gear 4th. And Rayleigh was just like dumbfounded. He was like, what? I just told you not to use it anymore. And you still want to use Gear 4th? Luffy's conclusion is that he just wants to beat his opponent down. He's going to outlast his opponent. He's going to outwill his opponent. And that's how he wins. Luffy is not going to sit around blowing up gas bubbles. He's not going to start throwing his toenails on the ground, using them as caltrops. I just can't see it happening. Luffy already uses his body how he wants it to. He's not going to say, all right, time to detach my limbs and start, whirling around like Katakuri when he's using future observation Haki. That's not how I see Luffy working. And I do appreciate all of the thoughts and the efforts the original post put down. But this is one of the few times, I guess the first time, I've actually disagreed with the post that I brought up. Which, to be fair, I did not read this post beforehand. I went into this as blind as possible. I clicked on it. I saw he put a lot of effort into it, and I just wanted to check it out. Very unfortunate that I disagree with it, but I do have to give credit where it's due. The guy put thought into it. He really tried to flesh this out. He really tried to make it work, and he did spend time on it, so kudos to him. I'm sorry I had to disagree with it again. I just feel bad, man. Like, it's like watching a kid build a sand castle, and then I'm just walking by and I casually just like slap the heck out of it. I blow it up in the kid's face. I take that sand and just start just putting it in his eyes and giving him pink eye for the next 2 weeks. Like, it doesn't feel good. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. All credit goes to the original poster. He did put a lot of effort into it, like I said. If you like this content, please consider dropping a like, subscribing, and commenting down below as well. It really means the world to me that you guys like these types of videos. If you have any wacky poster theories you want me to talk about, please link that down below as well. And if you really like me and you enjoy the content, I do have a second channel where I'll be posting gameplay highlights for my Twitch streams, and also please follow me on Twitch. I could use all the support I can get. I also have a very dead Discord. If you want to join, it's down there as well. We really appreciate all the new people joining in. It's not necessarily a like One Piece Discord. We're just hanging out, having fun, goofs, gaffs, all that good stuff. So yeah, drop by, say hello, talk to me, do whatever, enjoy the community, and Can't ask for more than that. If you don't want to join them, understandable. I wouldn't join half the people I watch on YouTube. That's just how it is. With that being said, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Catch you guys tomorrow.